My name's Chuck McKay. I spent 3 decades in media, and I'm trying to earn my way back into polite society now by not working for any of the media, but rather offering advice to people as a consultant in business, primarily in marketing. And this morning, our topic is really simple. If you're one of those people who has been told and maybe even believe that the only way you're going to get customers into your business is to drop your price or run a loss leader or some kind of special, I'm hoping that we will leave today having disillusioned you. I'm going to show you 6 other ways to make a sale happen that don't involve dropping your price. You know, it's interesting. We've got 7 methods here. One of them assures that you will never be profitable. And that is the one, unfortunately, that people keep using. So let's take just a second with that as a bit of a background. What would you like to learn most today? If you can leave with having come up with one bit of information, what would that be?
How to advertise in a cost-effective manner.
Okay, cost.
That's probably one of my biggest marketing questions I get from
Advertising.
people I talk to.
Good. What's your name?
Yeah, Marina.
Hi, Marina. I'm sorry.
Hi. I would like to know more about persuasion and how to retain customers.
Okay. How to persuade the PER
I think mainly satisfaction too.
and
I think that's the reason why they keep coming back.
customers. Louisa?
Well, as a nonprofit, we don't have a big budget from that standpoint. So kind of with Kristen, is it cost effective? And, what are the new things out there? I mean, there's all this talk about, social media and those kinds of things. And while we use it, what's the best way to kind of use that? Is social media one of the 6 ways you're going to talk about?
No, but
No.
we can touch on that.
Okay.
Sam?
How to sell my services without offering discounts.
That's a good one. And people love discounts. I love
Yeah, and
them
it's hard. You don't want to develop that reputation either. And I recently did that on my website in a blog post, and I got 12 or 14 people from it. But now, will they ever pay me full price? That's the question.
It is a good question. Scott?
Well, I would just like to learn how to maximize my advertising budget.
Mo? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. As we progress today, when we think we've gotten one of these answered to your satisfaction, I'm going to erase it, and by the end of the session, I'm going to hope to have all those done. As I said, there are six ways to make a sale happen that are going to keep you profitable. One that is guaranteed not to. And unfortunately, that one is the one that everybody seems to go for. It's like the lowest common denominator path of least resistance. And let me open up with a story that my friend and colleague and business partner, Mike Dandridge, took on a Rexel electrical wholesale supply in Midland, Texas. It's on Interstate 35. And at the time that he took over the store, they were doing about $300,000 a year in gross sales. It is, there was a new Lowe's going in about half a mile south on I-35 and a new Home Depot that they've broken ground for on the north side of I-35, about a mile up the road. And they said, here, Mike, make us wealthy. And let's talk just a bit about electrical wholesale. You sell to electricians. And there's really no way to differentiate the square D circuit breaker in your supply from the square D circuit breaker over there. The Romex wire is Romex wire. It's the same number of ohms of resistance per or conductance per foot. You know, it doesn't matter. So what typically happens is an electrician needs something. He goes to the nearest wholesaler, grabs what he needs, and gets out of there because time is money. And if he's going for parts, he's not getting his project completed. Mike used the techniques we're going to talk about here to make an amazing change in that store. And I don't want to tell you how much yet, but I can promise you it's pretty spectacular. I came up with a very simple formula that you can use to calculate the odds of your ad being accepted or your offer being accepted. This one is the hook formula. It's my own invention, so blame me if you don't like it. Purchase intent is a product of customer motivation, the relevance of your offer, the value of your offer, your experience, customer's experience with you, and a lumps category that I call friction, which primarily is risk and time. So I just went through all those, didn't I?
What was it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Purchase intent?
Yeah, if you remember, move over F, or move over F, or however you want to do it. Purchase intent is, oops, I'll go back. It's the motivation the customer has. How badly does he want it?
Okay.
It's your relevance of your offer. That is, how close is your offer to what he really wants to buy? As an example, if I decide I'm going back to school this fall, and I go to a car dealer and I say, you know, I'm going back to school, I need a car. And he immediately takes me to all the economy cars that are going to get great gas mileage while I'm a student, and never asks any questions, and does not figure out that I want a sports car so I'll look good for the co-eds. He's never going to make a sale. He has a great offer, but it's not a great offer for me. Then there's value, which is basically what I get for what I pay. If I think I'm getting more value than I'm paying in cash, if it looks like it's more attractive to me than keeping my cash is, we make the sale. If my cash looks more valuable to me, we do not. Customer experience, this is also professional reputation. And we'll cover that, why it's important in just a minute. And then time and risk are the two big friction elements. Now, this is pretty subjective in a lot of places. Some places we use hard numbers like the number of hours and the number of dollars. And the rest of these, you're going to have to pick a number. And we start with everything equal to 1. And then you tell me, is this times 1 is average. It's no better, no worse than anybody else. So in your estimation, is this customer going to need to be motivated more or less? How much? How much would this offer solve the problem that customer is probably trying to solve? How much value are you doing? Well, that one we can calculate. We can put down what it appears that it ought to cost and what it actually costs, and we know with a degree of certainty. Let me show you how this works. You walk over to a soda machine. You expect to pay $1. The price is only 75 cents. This appears to be a good value. And anything over 100 indicates a purchase is going to happen. Well, look at here. We're at 133 because we expected to pay more than it's going to cost. But you know, they're not offering Coca-Cola in this machine, and I'm And so I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy this. But I'm really thirsty. So with high motivation, even the non-relevance of the offer becomes less of a factor, and it's still looking pretty good that I'm going to buy until I notice that the only flavor of soda they have in this machine is Old Uncle Chuck's Rutabaga soda. And I can pretty much promise you this sale is not going to happen because risk just escalated to 15. Where did 15 come from? It's a relative number. But as long as you're the person assigning all the numbers, there's a consistency to what you do. And so this ought to work very well. You blow out a tire when you're out for a Sunday afternoon drive, and well, look at here. You blow out right in front of the gas station. You expect you're going to pay about $80 for a replacement tire. They offer you one for $100. The value on this is not looking good. It looks like that tire is overpriced. And to make matters worse, you prefer Goodyear, and they've offered you a Yamaha tire. You don't know enough about Yamaha. So now this sale is not looking good at all. But you know what? It's 20 miles to town, and it's getting dark. My point is that all of these factors interact with each other, and all of them together predict the probability of that sale. So you notice that nowhere on here are we going to talk about cutting price. We will talk about changing apparent value. We will talk about lowering risk. We will talk about a number of things, but we're not going to talk about cutting price. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about triggers. We're going to talk about customer motivation. We're going to examine the shopping patterns of two different kinds of people. I will contend there are only 8 possible advertising messages. We're going to let you pick one that appears to be good for you. We're going to show how to make better value. We're going to talk about the reputation you created in the community. We're going to talk about eliminating friction, and then actually play with some hook numbers. So, you know what this is? This is a trigger. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen a 400-pound marketing consultant, but this is what he looks like. And on approximately June 20th of last year, Dr. Wetstein picked up my chart and he said, 398? This must be a typo. This must be a 298. I said, no, that's real. And he just looked at the chart and he looked at me, and without preaching a word, he just said, you know what you got to do. Okay, how are your meds? And that was the stern talking to I got that time. But I have been overweight my entire adult life. And I've gotten lectures from every doctor that I've ever saw the services of. One of them tried to talk me into a lap band. It got to the point where my pancreas couldn't keep up a number of years ago. For the last decade, I've been taking insulin. I was up to about 165 units a day, and a bunch of oral meds. And people would say, you know, you got to take that off. You're going to die. And I said, yeah. And then I got this in the mail from my youngest daughter. And I said, huh. Better go see what the tux looks like. Oh, look. It comes this close to buttoning. Okay, so I can either get a bigger tuxedo and look like a black and white balloon bouncing down the aisle with my daughter on my arm, or I can do something about it. And so 80 pounds later, well, I'll show you what 80 pounds looks like too. That's 80 pounds. Wow. The trigger happened because of life. Life provides an amazing number of triggers, and this morning we're going to learn how to do the rest of them. When people want to buy, what they really want is for us to make it stop hurting.
Say that again?
They want it to stop hurting. Whatever they're buying, there is a discomfort that it is preventing them from eliminating. The lack of something in their lives hurts. Now, it could be as basic as I'm hungry. That's a definite lack. But it could be as basic as, I'm not getting the recognition I need. I need for somebody to pay attention to me. And you know what? I'm willing to pay for that. So whatever that need is, it's going to fill, it's going to help satisfy one of the basic functions in my life.
Well, anytime for registration,
Anybody know the single biggest trigger for someone buying pancake syrup?
you don't have any in your
Exactly.
pancakes.
I'm out of syrup. That's why people buy pancake syrup. And there's not an ad you can do that is going to take someone who doesn't eat syrup and say, oh my gosh, I must rush to the store. I need this. We can't make them need it. We can't make them want it. Some of those full price triggers, you can increase shopper motivation. You can increase the relevance of the offer. This slide is out of order because we already talked about all these things. But you can't make them want it. There are 3 parts of customer motivation, and they usually happen in this sequence, although not always. And a trigger can happen in any one of these. The first is somebody has to say, there's something missing in my life and I want it. You can advertise dog food forever, you can advertise a great price on dog food, but until the time comes that I actually own a dog, I don't want your dog food. So there is the acknowledgement of desire. And then I go out and I start saying, well, how do I make it stop hurting? And for instance, example I came up with a while back, a woman wakes up in the morning with a backache. No big deal. She gets up, she showers, she has some coffee, and the backache's gone. Then tomorrow it's there again. And this happens day after day. And one day she says, you know, this happens every day. I wake up every single morning with a backache. And she has just acknowledged that she desires not to have a backache in the morning. She's hit the first stage. And then the awareness of all those options include, well, what will happen is now she'll become aware of advertising for backaches, right? And she'll get, morning backache is a sign of a too soft mattress. See how good you feel after 30 nights on a Simmons beauty rest. Maybe she needs a new mattress. And then she sees an ad that says, morning backache is a sign of poor posture. Walk Fit orthotic shoe inserts helped over 90% of the people tested reduce pain levels in their feet, knees, spine, and pelvis. Oh, this insert's got to cost less than a mattress. Maybe we should look at that. Morning backache is a sign of poor spinal alignment. Should that stiff neck or sore back persist, call your doctor of chiropractic. Morning backache can be treated with Doan's backache pills. They relieve aches and pains, that helpless feeling of stiffness in the morning, so the system can be restored to full health. Morning backache is a sign that the vital magnetic energy from the Earth's natural magnetic field has been interrupted. Magnetic insoles provide penetrating magnetic therapy for the entire body, while soft massaging nodes stimulate reflexology points. Multiple products, all claiming they're going to relieve her discomfort. And now, in the second awareness of option stage, she's looking at it and saying, do I believe these people? Do I think this applies to me? Is this something I want to do? And finally, the pain is going to escalate. There will be a trigger, and she's going to say, I want this. I'm going to buy it. Now, here's the interesting thing, or one of the interesting things. You can't help her acknowledge desire. That's got to come from within. Until she says, I want my back to stop hurting, you can run ads forever. She's never going to see them. Until she becomes aware of all of the options and has weighed them, she will resent you trying to close her as being pushy. She's not ready. And yes, you can help educate, although I wouldn't recommend you do a lot of that because that's expensive. But the reality is, when she's satisfied, I'm not seeing anything new, I think I have a grasp on all my options. When that happens, now she's likely to say, okay, it's time to make a choice. And at that time, oh boy, can we rev up the urgency. Oh my goodness. When somebody says, I have a problem and I think you have the solution, now all these advertising techniques that we've talked about over the years come into play. And you know, the single best one I've ever seen, take stuff away. If I say, if you buy this, we'll deliver it before midnight. We'll set it up, you can sleep on it tonight. That's an offer. That's one of the things I'm doing to add value to the apparent price. And you say, okay, I'll go think about it. Okay, what happens? They think about it. But if I say, oh, you know what? My delivery guy is about to go on vacation, and I can't leave the store because I'm here all alone. So if you buy it before Saturday, I can have it delivered immediately. After that, it's going to be a difficulty as I try to figure out where I can get some part-time help to get this thing delivered to you way after hours. It's going to be inconvenient. And so if you buy it this week, I can have this set up immediately. You'll be oh so comfortable. Taking stuff away is an amazing thing. This offer is only good for the first 12 purchasers. This offer expires midnight Friday. You must take delivery from dealer stock. This offer has a bonus that is being provided by a third party, and they're going to withdraw that offer. And I'm not even sure when, but they told me that they're going to limit how many of these they're going to let me have. So if you're interested, you probably should move pretty quickly. Here's the interesting part of that. If I say, today I can do this, people feel manipulated. And they say, okay, good luck. And they walk. But if you say, I'm a couple days away from my boss having hit the sales numbers for the district that's going to win the contest, and when that happens, he's going to take the extra motivation away. So please don't wait too long. Now I'm being helpful. Now I'm telling you of some impending doom that you're going to want to take into account, but I'm not being manipulative anymore, right? When you're talking to early stage buyers, the message you're going to want to give them is, even if you don't know what questions to ask, we can help. Don't be afraid to come in. If you don't even have the vocabulary, don't worry about it. We'll help you. Mid-stage.
Early stage buyer is someone who's not ready to buy?
Early stage buyer is aware that they have a problem. However, there are, as I said, life is a big trigger. Suppose you woke up this morning and sat up in bed, swung your feet over the edge, and your feet plopped down into 2 inches of cold water.
Okay.
Are you going to weigh options?
That's horrible.
No, the next words I expect to hear are, you get the yellow pages, I'll grab the mop, and the only thing that matters is how quickly can somebody get here and fix this. You're not going to call and say, so do you have certified plumbers? Or what are my options? Do you have any incentive? That all just went away. We went direct, hi, come on in. Allow me to let you pass. So what happens now, because of that emergency trigger, you've gone directly to which plumber can get here fastest, because I've got an emergency. And by the way, for one of the questions was, what are some of the media choices and cost-effective advertising? If you offer emergent services, water removal, fire restoration, ambulances, whatever, you're probably going to find the Yellow Pages still works to some degree. If you're a jeweler, don't waste your money. The Yellow Pages are being used less every year because people are using more and more search engines. And if you're going to optimize for search, make sure that you're optimizing for emergency plumber, Victorville, water removal, Adelanto, whatever. Okay. But the message at mid-stage is pull out a testimonial. Find somebody who will say, I too worried that this was the right choice. But you know what? I took the plunge, I bought it, I'm thrilled with my choice, it solved my problem, chances are it'll solve your problem too. People doing the evaluation are going to be very persuaded by somebody just like them who solved a problem just like theirs. By the way, my friend Scott has a video camera that apparently died.
Well, I'm just conserving.
Ah, okay.
We only have about 14 minutes left.
Okay. We'll play it by ear. But when we finish today, if anybody feels they got some value from this and would like to step in front of the camera and share that you're glad you came today, I could use a testimonial. The last step is this degree of urgency, the late stage buyer. And late stage buyers are the ones that I said we can rev up real well. Late stage buyers, deal sweeteners. If you the whole focus needs to be as, of course you want what we've got. Of course you do. It's a great product, it's a great service, it's a great solution to your problem. Of course you want it. Let us help you get it. That needs to be the message underlying this. So if you're talking to late stage buyers, they've already kind of decided they need what you've got. The message is, I'll help you. I'll help you get it. I'll help you take it home. Stage 0. This is the general public. These are people that have never said, my back hurts and I need a solution. But there are products that make sense to advertise to the general public. And the one that came to mind when I started thinking about this, Hallmark cards. Will you sometime in the next year need to express some sentiment and want to do it in a tangible way rather than call somebody and say, I'm feeling your pain? Would you send them a card that says, I'm so sorry for your loss? Is that a likely scenario, or a birthday, or a promotion, or congratulations, or I miss you? Hallmark can do this because the need to express oneself is universal, and the number of triggering events in the next year is limitless. They don't need to wait until somebody says, I have a problem, I need a card. They need to just keep reminding everybody, when you have a problem, here we are. When you need to tell someone you care, we've got 5,000 expressions of that particular care. McDonald's does pretty well advertising to stage 0. They don't wait until you're hungry. They keep saying, here's all the reasons that the next time you're hungry, you should choose us. But then again, McDonald's didn't do that when they were new. They did that after they hit their 7 millionth store, I think. Okay?
A question,
What?
or a comment question. That type of awareness advertising is only possible for large corporations for the most part.
Well, it's only possible, you can do it on a very small scale too. If you were the only jeweler advertising, well, I'll give you a true story. I was going to dance around it and talk about the only jeweler. Woody Justice was the guy's name, Justice Jewelers. And my partner, Roy Williams, took him on as a client. And they had so little money. I mean, Woody was doing $300,000 a year as a jeweler. Now, what's that work out to be per month?
25?
Huh?
25 grand?
Yeah, it was like him and his wife in the store, and they didn't have any employees, and he was worried about how he's going to pay the rent. And to come up with $300 or $400 for advertising was all he had. And Roy said, the only place you can afford to advertise is on the teenage station between 7 and midnight. So we better come up with a message that's relevant to them. And they did, and I'll bore you later with some of the actual messages. But they started getting some response because the whole position was, you know, eventually you're going to ask her to marry you. You may as well come and see us. They weren't that blatant. One of the ads, this I'll tell you about later, I'll tell you now anyway. One of the ads was, so she finally takes you home to meet her parents. and her dad just stares at you and doesn't say anything, and then they trot in all the relatives that are going to size you up. And on the other hand, imagine the difference it would make if she came home wearing the ring. Now everybody's excited, and they're planning, and her dad will say, "Would you like some more pie, son?" These were the kinds of ads they were doing. And amazingly, 17 and 18-year-olds started thinking about getting married and buying rings from Justice Jewelers. The progression, by the way, after that was they expanded into afternoons. And as the money started rolling in, they expanded into middays and mornings, and then they had another radio station. And then when they had done all the radio stations in town, they went to billboards in town, and they just kept adding up to the point where Woody Justice was doing more jewelry per square foot than any other jewelry store in America. I'm not going to throw the numbers at you because I haven't looked at this in several years. And unfortunately, Woody passed away a year ago, and all of us who knew him or knew of him felt it personally because he was a great guy and he built the store for nothing by very carefully saying, when you need us, we're here. I would like you to break into two teams. What's your name, please?
Manjita.
Hi, Majita. Would you get with Sam and Scott over here? And you guys will be one team.
Roll your chair over.
Yeah.
My chair.
And what I'd like you to do is pretend that you are working in a cellular telephone store, and as a group figure out which of these questions is coming from an early stage buyer, which one is coming from a mid-stage buyer, and which one's from late stage buyers. The circle will go.
What did you say?
So this could be like a late
L stands for early stage buyer, mid stage.
Late stage buyers, reimbursement.
So we have to figure out, based on the question, what stage they are in. After reception, mid or late. Early.
That's true. So it could be
And before you make any decision, you have to have it in a section.
that's gonna be.
That's a good question.
That would be early stage.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
Would it even
We
be
saw
soft?
something that said wireless and what is that? Well, it could be mid too, because you decided you're gonna buy a router, now you're going, which one should I buy?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that I
Then you have to do the
programs
pure
to connect my
wireless.
wireless?
Need internet.
Might be options.
So should that be mid?
Because he's talking about options.
Because you've decided you wanna,
Which one you gonna, where you gonna have it? You need
What
it.
exactly
No,
is
it's-
4G network?
right, but if,
What's the boundary
if the
line?
question was, out of these two wireless and wireless, which one's better? That could be late stage.
That would be a knowledge.
So
Just
this would be
whatever it, you just don't even know what the concept is.
They've already listed the models.
No,
Yeah.
because if we were choosing two wireless and wireless, then it would be late. If it's-
Late.
Okay, right.
Might be a late. You're already ready to purchase. Go more.
If the
More
reception is
detail.
not good, it's not, there's
Short
no
process.
Right.
This has to be linked with something really far.
This is my life since that. And my books in the kitchen.
So